Hello, and welcome to the second development log for Catty and Betty 2. There's a lot going on this week, so let's just get to it. I fixed a lot of things. The first thing that I fixed was mouse mode actually made it possible to go through totally blocking hard vines. There is a level where you cannot go to the other side of a hard vine, and with mouse mode you were able to, because I used the direct coordinates of the mouse, and instead I'm now moving actually the player from one coordinate to the next, so this doesn't happen anymore. I also fixed an error that allowed Betty to delete leaf piles. I almost thought this was an error in the artificial intelligence of the spirits, but nope, it was just a regular error. A lot of this doesn't make any sense, but maybe it will make sense to you when you actually play the game later on, so just bear with me. Actually, that was it for the fixes. Let's just get right to the features and content that I've implemented. First thing that I changed was the border of the levels. Previously there was just a black border, now it's a better looking border, I guess. I also added keyboard keys and mouse middle click, so you can send spirits with keyboard and mouse as well, which is nice. I also displayed a hint for the player to press a certain key or button to send spirits. It's just plain old text for now, but I will probably change it to something better later on. It's just important to let the player know that, you know, you have to start, you have to actually start the level and send the spirits. I also added a feature that lets you preview how the spirits are going to move, which is also really nice. For this I copied the spirit AI and made it so that the previous spirits don't check for buttons and gates and stuff like that. So it's the same code, just with a few exceptions. I know I should have probably made another class based on the spirit class, but yeah, I just tagged it in there and I hope it doesn't, fire back on me. I also drew a generic spirit. I hope it is generic enough, but it's just for the crowd in level 28. And speaking of which, I also planned and implemented level 28. Again, I changed the spirit AI and made it so it prefers going to the left when it's a spirit of the crowd in level 28. And it keeps going off screen to the left and then returns at a random y-axis at the right side again. So it's a nice little crowd simulator. It also ignores interactive surroundings such as buttons and gates and stuff like that, but it was important that it totally blocks regular spirits, which is why you have to get them out of the way. So when the crowd collides with the regular spirits stop moving, and that is important for the goal of the level. I actually stumbled upon my first performance issues with this level. Basically, the on-trigger exit fired for every spirit, and I have like 50 spirits or something like that for the crowd. So the change for this was to not check for a specific collision for the crowd spirits. I also call them spirit strangers inside the code, which I think is nice. Another thing I changed was the layout of the first level. I wanted to be very simple, just to show the mechanic, okay, you have to put boxes there to direct the spirits to the gate. And I will probably change it again soon. And a lot of the layout will probably also change when I add more, hints and stuff like that, but yeah, this is something that will emerge from all the playtests, I hope. I also added mouse support for the overworld, and the player progress is now saved as well. So the overworld doesn't start with all levels revealed anymore. And the saving also includes the cursor style, so every player can just, I think it's the left button on the controller, and you can change the style of your cursor if you want. This is actually something that will be implemented more heavily, a few more customization options, but yeah, I will talk about this when we're there. I've made some general notes. I started planning level 29. I have about 2 or 3 versions in my head for this, But yeah, I will talk about this next week. Or in 2 weeks, we will see. There is also a bit of an issue because I am currently exporting Linux and Windows builds, and switching between the export options always takes a few seconds, and that, yeah, it's a little annoying, and especially because I know that there is Unity Cloud build, and I just don't want to pay for this at the moment, at least. And yeah, so I just, I have patience. I also tried upgrading to Unity 2020, basically because of the awesome new editor functions and stuff like that, but it turned out to be a bit of a disaster, mainly because of Rewired and Playmaker. I definitely want to remove Playmaker totally from the project. There is only one function left that is actually utilizing Playmaker, and that is the tail of the spirits. There's a little flame that gets spawned for every spirit. That's the last remaining Playmaker script, and then I can remove Playmaker, and then I will hopefully get the upgrade going, because I really want to upgrade. I think Rewired will be okay. I hope so. And of course, I also prepared the itch.io beta for my patrons. You can follow the link and you can log in with the Patreon account, or you can purchase it on itch.io. It's in early access, of course. It's a really rough early game. There's no music, no sounds, and cutscenes, or cute scenes as I like to call them, are heavy work in progress. So if you decide to play it, you know what you're going to get at the moment. But you're also going to see the game grow, and you're also able to provide feedback if you want. So what's next? I definitely want to finish level 29. I also want to work on the power prints on the overworld. There are small little prints in the ground between each level. And of course, if feedback comes in from beta, I will probably work on that as well. In fact, there already is feedback. Cachefilm said it was unclear what the goal is of the game. Well, I guess it's not that easy to see. I will make sure that it is a bit more clear in the future. And Flo said that he just likes to let the spirits move and then places the boxes frantically. That is definitely a valid strategy, although I think in the later levels you will find that a bit more difficult, but yeah. There's never really a game over in this game, so if the spirits are let loose, then they're let loose and they just wander around and you can try to catch them again. Also, I want to thank Chigalog for providing Russian subtitles for this development log again, just like he did for Halfquake. And yeah, I want to thank you all for joining me and Katie and Betty on our latest adventure. I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.